as the Senate considers a different landmark bill to help our veterans this week. The Honoring Our Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics, or the PACT Act, is comprehensive legislation that will expand health care and benefits for more than 3.5 million of our nation's toxic-exposed veterans. In doing so, will make an enormous difference in the lives of those who have served in uniform and defended our freedoms and our way of life. Because for far too long, when our sons and daughters have returned from overseas, they have had to face a bureaucratic maze just to get treatment for illnesses they contracted while serving. Here's just one example. For many who served in the Middle East during the Gulf War, they came back with multiple medically unexplained chronic symptoms, from fatigue and headaches to joint pain, indigestion, dizziness, respiratory, and memory problems. When veterans submitted claims to get treatment for these symptoms, collectively known as Gulf War illness, the VA had them fill out a separate questionnaire for each symptom, a separate questionnaire for each symptom. Adjudicators at the VA would then order examinations for each symptom without considering the factors that connected one illness to multiple symptoms. As a result, claims for Gulf War illness were more likely to take longer and were denied at greater rates than other service-related disabilities. And while studies show that Afghanistan and Iraq veterans suffered from conditions associated with Gulf War illness at a similar rate, for some reason, only those who served in Iraq were deemed eligible for presumptive benefits. This kind of bureaucratic nightmare is exactly why I introduced the Improving Benefits for Gulf War Veterans Act, which is now included in the PACT Act. In addition to permanently extending the period of eligibility for compensation based on Gulf War illness, my provision removes the manifestation period requirement related to Gulf War illness. It requires the VA to create a disability benefits questionnaire specific to Gulf War illnesses and veterans that are screened for Gulf War illness. Overall, the legislation, the PACT Act, adds 23 burn, pit, and toxic exposure-related conditions to the VA's list of service presumptions. Now, burn pits where our servicemen and women abroad were stationed, and in terms of dealing with what would have to be the garbage and other elements that had to be disposed, they burned them. They burned it indiscriminately. They burned it next to where those who were serving. And the toxic fumes that emanated from that were inhaled by our service people. And for many of them, it created a life-changing set of circumstances. This finally recognizes that and seeks to treat them. It strengthens federal research on toxic exposure and increases resources and training to identify symptoms earlier, all while creating a framework so that future veterans exposed to toxins can get a presumption of service connection quicker, easier, and more efficiently. Most importantly, though, it pays for all of this through mandatory spending, not annual appropriations. What does that mean? It means that our veterans have the peace of mind knowing that their health care and benefits are locked in no matter which way the political winds in Congress are blowing, no matter who is in the majority, their benefits will be locked in. Simply put, the Honoring Our PACT Act lives up to its name. It honors our commitment to every single American who answered the call, who put the country and their community before themselves. It gets us closer to what John F. Kennedy once said. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. For me, as I have said on many Memorial and Veterans Day observances, honoring our veteran goes beyond recognizing them for their service, which we should, of course. It is about living up to our commitment to serve those who so selflessly served us. That means taking care of their health care, taking care of their disabilities, taking care of their loved ones when they commit the ultimate sacrifice. And when we dedicate ourselves to securing health care and benefits for those who have been subjected and exposed to toxic substances, from Agent Orange to burn pits, we are living up to this responsibility. And this is what I look forward to passing this week in the United States Senate as we go back. So I'm thrilled to have a series of our veterans with us here today. Some have personal experiences, some who will speak to this, starting with Michael Embrick, a lifelong resident of Bayonne who has served both in Iraq and Afghanistan. Michael?